For as long as I can remember, the advice for getting fit has been pretty much the same. Hit the pavement, grind it out, and just keep going. But what if that's not the full story? What if there's a way that's smarter, way faster, and honestly, a lot more effective? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down today. So let's just get right to it and ask a pretty wild question. Could that 60-minute jog you're so dedicated to actually be holding you back? Or, crazy as it sounds, maybe even causing some hidden problems? The answer? Well, it just might shock you. All right, so let's start by putting that old school conventional wisdom under the microscope. For decades, endurance was the absolute gold standard of fitness. But now, a whole bunch of research is starting to ask a really important question. Have we been overdoing it? Yeah, the thinking has always been super simple, right? If you want to get fitter, you just have to do more. More miles, more minutes, more days on the treadmill. But as we're about to find out, the latest science is showing that this whole more is always better idea might have some serious holes in it. And this is where it gets really interesting. It turns out there's a potential downside to that more is better philosophy. For some folks, tons of endurance training can actually lead to things like chronic inflammation. It can even, believe it or not, temporarily weaken your immune system. Now look, this isn't about demonizing long runs, but the evidence shows they might not be the only answer or even the best one, especially when you think about the massive amount of time they take up. Okay, but don't panic. This is not your get-out-of-exercise free card. Instead, think of this as an introduction to a really powerful alternative that has scientists incredibly excited. Welcome to the HIIT revolution. So what is this magic solution? It's called HIIT, which stands for high-intensity interval training. I know, it sounds pretty intense, but the idea behind it is actually beautiful in its simplicity. It's all about short, powerful bursts of effort, where you are really, really pushing it, followed by a period of rest or just some light activity to catch your breath. So what does that actually look like in the real world? Well, imagine you're on a stationary bike. You go all out, pedaling as hard as you can for, say, 30 seconds. Then you slow way down and just pedal easily for a minute. Then you repeat that cycle maybe 6 to 10 times. The best part? The entire workout could be over and done in just 15 or 20 minutes. It's all about the quality and the intensity of your effort, not just how long you go. Okay, so we get what it is. But the real question is, why does it work so darn well? This is where the science gets really, really cool. Let's dive in. This is where things get kind of mind-blowing. When you put HIIT and traditional moderate exercise head-to-head, the results are just stunning. Study after study is showing that HIIT can give you the same, and sometimes even better, health benefits, but in a tiny fraction of the time. You're getting a much bigger bang for your buck, which, let's be honest, makes it a whole lot easier to stick with. And look, if you need a single, powerful number to hang your hat on, here it is. 2 times. A huge analysis of multiple studies found that HIIT improved cardiorespiratory fitness, which is a huge marker of your overall health, by almost double what traditional training did. For people who are dealing with chronic diseases, that isn't just a tiny improvement, that's an absolute game changer. So how is this happening inside our bodies? Well, for starters, HIIT is a metabolic powerhouse. It dramatically improves how your body manages sugar by making you more sensitive to insulin, which is absolutely crucial for preventing and managing things like type 2 diabetes. Plus, it helps lower your blood pressure and torches that stubborn belly fat, all while helping you hang on to your precious muscle. Now, let's get even nerdier and zoom way in, right down to the cellular level. Think of HIIT as a total deep clean and upgrade for your body's little power plants, your mitochondria. These short, intense bursts of exercise basically tell your body, hey, get rid of these old, busted mitochondria and build me some new, high-performance ones. This can even help reverse some of the aging that happens in your mitochondria, which means a huge boost in your body's overall energy production. And this next part is, well, it's totally backwards from what you'd think. We tend to think of intense exercise as being stressful on the body, but it actually fights inflammation. See, when your muscles contract really powerfully, they shoot out these little messenger molecules called myokines. The star of the show is one called IL-6. And here's the twist. When IL-6 comes from your muscles during exercise, it acts as a powerful anti-inflammatory all over your body. The higher the intensity, the bigger the benefit. So cool. All right, the science is awesome, for sure. But the million-dollar question is, how do you actually start doing this in your own life? Well, the good news is, it's way more accessible than you might think. Let's walk through how to get started the smart and safe way. And honestly, this quote right here, it says it all. High intensity is totally relative to you. It's not about trying to sprint like an Olympic athlete. If you haven't been active, just walking fast up a hill might be your high intensity. For someone in cardiac rehab, a brisk walk could feel like an all-out effort. The whole point is to push yourself relative to your current fitness level, and then recover. But, and this is a big but, because this stuff is so powerful, we have to talk about safety. It is absolutely essential that you approach this intelligently and responsibly. This part is non-negotiable. So let's be super clear. Who needs to pump the brakes and check with a doctor first? Well, if you've been pretty sedentary and you have any risk factors for heart disease, or if you have diabetes, it is critical that you get medical clearance before jumping into something vigorous like HIIT. And really, for anybody, if you ever feel things like chest pain, dizziness, or a weird shortness of breath, you stop, period, and you see a doctor. The bottom line is simple. When in doubt, check it out first. So, what's the big takeaway here? The science is pretty clear on this one. It's time to stop thinking about fitness just in terms of minutes logged or miles run and start thinking about intensity and efficiency. By working smarter, not just longer, you can unlock some truly profound benefits for your health. So the only question left is, are you ready to achieve more in less time?